All right. So, if you have come for the two-finger introduction to two-finger thumb lead banjo, you're in the right place. And specifically, two-finger banjo thumb lead for the Clawhammer banjoist. So, this will be an introduction to two-finger thumb lead style, but I'm also going to cover some specific things that are relevant to the Clawhammer banjoist who may be dabbling in this style for the first time, and some considerations there and some reasons why I think that this is a very natural transition going from Clawhammer to this two-finger thumb lead if you're wanting to dabble in the world of fingerstyle banjo, which I highly encourage. So, for those who don't know, I am Josh Turknet, the founder of Banjo. This, again, is the workshop for two-finger thumb lead banjo. It is considered maybe one of the old-time styles of banjo playing, but don't let that name fool you. You can play any type of music you want to play using this style, and it's really a fantastic way to play the banjo. So for those of you who are going to be watching this live, there is yes, twice in one day. I'm crazy, Bob. So for those of you who are watching this live, I will be checking that chat box periodically if you have any questions that arise along the way. And just to give you an overview of what I'm going to do, so I'll start by just kind of saying a few words about this style, two-finger banjo, and specifically two-finger thumb lead style, and then we're going to walk through a couple of songs that hopefully you can play along with if you have your banjo with you and tuned up, and you can kind of test drive this style for yourself. And I have, if you look in the video description on the page for this video, you'll see there's a link to where you can download the materials for this workshop, essentially the two tabs that I'm going to cover. So if you want to do that now or after it's over, again, I'll be showing them on the screen so you can see them during the workshop, but if you want to have them later, you can grab that link. So one of the missions of Banjo, and specifically with the Breakthrough Banjo course for fingerstyle specifically, is to try to expose folks to the really rich world of fingerstyle banjo. So we're kind of in this unusual position, it seems like, where on the one hand, there may be more people playing the banjo than ever before, thanks to the internet. It's a kind of an international reach. People can buy banjos far easier than they used to, so maybe more people than ever playing, but there's also kind of been this homogenization of styles, or a sort of a loss of some of the diversity in the different ways of playing the banjo. And so you kind of have the two major technical ways of doing it. You have clawhammer, and then you have fingerstyle. And within the world of fingerstyle, that's become really dominated by Scruggs style or bluegrass banjo, starting with Earl Scruggs and Bill Monroe, and his style was so captivating and influential that a lot of people adopted it, and now you have that really being almost synonymous with fingerstyle banjo. But before that point in history, especially if you listen back to some of the old recordings, there's such a rich, diverse number of people who picked in fingerstyle banjo and used all sorts of wonderful techniques, including this two-finger thumb lead style, which is really great. And is such a wonderful way to start with fingerstyle banjo. So many of the issues that folks have with Scruggs style would just evaporate if they began with this style, and then it also just allows you access to all the other fingerstyles. So it's a great stepping stone for three-finger banjo playing if you so desire, but it's also a perfectly acceptable style in its own right, and there's a lot more that you can do with it. I think that most folks realize. I've been exploring it a lot for the past few years, and it's almost like I sometimes wonder why I bother ever using a third finger. There are certain things that it does that really, because of the limitations that it has, actually elevate certain aspects of banjo playing. So in that respect, actually, it's there's some similarities to clawhammer style. So one of the captivating things about clawhammer banjo is that driving rhythmic pulse, and it comes from that regular pulsation of the picking hand, which, as I've talked about before, also has its weaknesses. So with that strength comes some weaknesses, and that requires some creativity in how we approach trying to get all the notes that we want to get, whether it's with our picking hand or with our fretting hand. And as you'll see in a minute, the same thing is true with two-finger thumb lead. So there's the way it's approached really allows you to create this wonderful rhythm and drive to it. But again, it also that comes with some constraints, and kind of working around those constraints is part of the fun. But there's a lot you can do, and actually some of the same techniques that you'd use with your picking hand when it comes to clawhammer style work very well with two-finger thumb lead, so that translates. So if you are a clawhammer banjo player and you haven't dabbled much in fingerstyle playing, particularly this style, you've already got the fretting hand, you already got one hand down. And in fact, like I said, there are techniques that clawhammer banjoists use that also lend themselves well to two-finger thumb lead that I don't see other three-finger style players doing. So I think that also may give them the perception that it's less versatile than it really is. But by applying some of those left-hand techniques, you can get some of the same benefits that you do with clawhammer. And so the other nice thing about this style, which is similar to clawhammer, is that it's actually better, in my opinion, for solo playing and for playing and singing than three-finger, especially Scruggs style three-finger. So Scruggs style three-finger sounds best when it's combined with a band, and there are things that you have to sort of edit and change about it if you want to play it behind your voice or play it while you sing, whereas you don't really have to do any of that with two-finger. It's kind of a natural fit. Also, this style can be played in both old-time and bluegrass settings. So, if you go to an old-time jam and you play sort of flashy Scruggs-style banjo, some people could give you the stink eye for doing that. Whereas if you go and you play two-finger style thumb lead, it'll blend right in. It's considered an old-time style, so the old-time police won't pull you over. And it also blends really well with that sound. And by the same token, you can go to a bluegrass jam and play this style, and most people won't even know that you're playing something different. These distinctions probably are most noticeable to banjo players, and so you can use it in either situation. And then, like I said, it also is a really great foundation for doing more with fingerstyle banjo if you want to. So in the Breakthrough Banjo course for fingerstyle, two-finger is taught first for this reason, because it provides such a great foundation, and it sort of eliminates a lot of the problems that often arise when folks try to jump straight into three-finger, and especially three-finger Scruggs style. And so I'm going to show you two songs in this tuning. Let me check for, all right, hello all, checking the chat real quick. So I'm going to show you two songs in this style, and the first I'll do kind of as a demonstration of the technique, and I'll also in the second just as a way of showing how many tunes that you have available to you if you already play clawhammer, and if you're familiar with some of the old-time repertoire. You have this huge body of fiddle tunes, and some of which you may already play, that you can adapt into this style pretty easily with the tuning that I'll show you. So for G and A tunes, and then for D tunes. And so these are going to be fairly simple versions, so you can kind of give them a try. But they're a great place to start with this style. And hopefully, my hope is that some of you will be inspired and excited about it and want to dig deeper into it and explore it yourself. And if you want to, there's you can make use of the Breakthrough Banjo course for fingerstyle to do that if you want. There's been one of the reasons I'm doing this. One of the reasons that I'm excited about it is there's been a real big interest in more stuff on this style from people who are part of that course. So that I've been creating more arrangements and more tabs for 2-finger style, and I'm excited to see that level of interest. Not everybody is just wanting to learn Scruggs or bluegrass banjo, which is kind of part of the mission. Even though I love Scruggs banjo, don't get me wrong, but there's just so much more out there than that. Like I said, I recommend everybody start with this style. All right, let's see. And all right, so let's get started then. Let me check the chat real quick, and I'll get started then with the first song. All right, so I'm going to change the view here if I can, so that you can see the tab. First of all, the first song I'm going to do, because it's a good one to demonstrate this style in, and it's one that hopefully you know the melody. First one I'm going to do is Skip to My Lou. And then the next one I'm going to do, which I actually posted on the channel yesterday, is Angelina Baker. So I'm going to now bring up the tab for Skip to My Lou. All right. Now, I've decapitated myself so that you can see the tab. All right. And you can also see what I'm doing on the banjo. All right. So just as a sort of a broad overview of this style, so just in terms of like the mechanics and that sort of thing, and the basic principles. So when I play this, I typically rest my pinky finger on the banjo head just as a point of stability. And then, so pinky finger, and then you're going to be playing with your thumb and index. So it's called thumb lead because the thumb is leading in that it is playing the melody notes. So essentially what you have is the thumb playing melody notes on strings 4, 3, and 2. And then you have the index finger playing taking care of the first string, and the thumb taking care of the 5th string. Okay, so thumb is the 4th, 3rd, 2nd strings, index is the 1st string, and thumb is also the 5th string. And those 1st and 5th strings are serving as drones. So what that does, I think one of the reasons people think this sounds like a very old-timey kind of style is it really enhances the droning quality of some of the tunes that you play in it. And it also, that structure just forces this driving type of rhythm. The constraints that it imposes, like I talked about, sort of make you play patterns that are regular in a way that give a nice drive to the music. And so that's the basic principle. So thumb on those strings, and then index on the first. And another thing this does is, because the thumb is typically our strongest finger, it naturally brings out those melody notes. One of the issues that's so common with 3-finger banjo and Scruggs banjo is when folks start playing melody notes with all the fingers and don't compensate or don't strengthen those other fingers to play them in equal volume, they kind of get lost. So this is a way of kind of playing a really melody first driven style from the start and getting that concept embedded in your head. All right, so again, as we work through this, just kind of think about that overall structure. Index finger is taking care of the first string, and then thumb on the rest of them, and the thumb is playing the melody notes. So, Skip to My Lou, we're in the key of G. We're going to playing this first song in standard G tuning, and we're going to change tunings for the next one. So the tuning again: D on the 4th string, G on the 3rd, B on the 2nd, D on the 1st, G on the 5th. Lost my partner, what'll I do? Lost my partner, what'll I do? Lost my partner, what'll I do? Skip to my Lou, my darling. Some of you may be wondering about picks. I just thought of that. Ray asked about a clawhammer pick. I'll get to that in a minute. So with two finger thumb lead style, with this what we're covering here, you can certainly play with or without picks, especially if you're playing on your own. So I'll tell you, when I'm playing on my own, if I'm playing solo, I'm almost always playing without picks. Partly just because I like the tone better. I like the tone of finger picks more if I'm playing with a band, when there are sort of other instruments to round out the tonal frequencies. By myself, I just prefer my bare fingers, and I also find it a lot easier to sing over my bare fingers than the tone of the finger picks. But if I'm playing in a jam, I will typically use a finger pick on my thumb and a metal pick on my index finger. For finger picks, I like the Sammy Shilor finger picks for the index, and I like Dunlop mediums for my thumb pick, just so you know. But for here, playing just bare fingers, also doesn't matter if you have a open back or a resonator banjo, either will work just fine. I'm going to play the first song on an open back, second song on a resonator. Okay, back to Skip to My Lute. So we're going, we got Lost My Partner. So I'm going to start here. So again, I've got my pinky planted here. I'm going to start my first melody note with my thumb. And I'm going to just slide into that note, which is, that note's the fourth string of the third, first melody note's Lost My, is that fourth fret of the third string, which is also the open second. But a common device when playing this style is to get that note on the fourth fret. And also common is to slide into it. So just plucking it with your thumb, starting at the second fret, moving to the fourth. You don't have to slide, you could just start with that fourth fret note. Okay? Now, after that slide, we're going to just play the fifth string with our thumb, and then the open first string with our index. So that sounds like this. And what you're going to find is that after the melody notes, again, melodies with the thumb, after the melody notes, you're going to have the thumb or the index typically doing something. And one something is that what we just did. So just playing the fifth and the first string. And another something could be a pinch. Or another something could just be the fifth string. But it's fairly simple, and that's the basic structure. Melody, and then some decoration notes with those drones on either the first or the fifth string. So here we go again, those first four notes. Now we have partner, again, third string, so it's both with the thumb, open. So that whole measure. All right, and I'm going to move this little blue cursor to kind of keep on track of where we are. What'll I do? So we have open fourth string. Again, we're gonna play that open first as a drone afterwards. Do the same thing, open fourth, and then the open first as a drone. So that sounds like what'll I? And then we have open third with the thumb. Remember, if you see anything with on the fourth, third, and second string, it's always your thumb, and those are the down and up beats. And now we're gonna just follow that with a pinch on the fifth string and the first string. So that second measure. What'll I do? Okay. Now back to that first note we opened with, which is the again, I'm going to play that on the fourth fret of the third string. Just going to play it straight instead of sliding this time. Going to do that same thing I did before, fifth string followed by the first string. And then two open third strings. Lost my partner. All right. Next note is what'll I do? So is the second fret of the third string with the thumb, followed by the open first. And then again, that little, the fifth string followed by the first string again. So essentially we have 3 drone notes following that, that melody note. And then we'll play that third string again, still fretting at the second fret. And then follow with a pinch. Okay, I'm going to play everything at the top of the screen now. Okay, move to our next set of measures. Hey John, welcome. We're walking through the song Skip to My Lou, 2-finger thumb lead style. All right, let's see. Lost my partner, what'll I do? That's where we are in the song. Let me move my cursor. Okay, again, same slide that we open with, same exact 4 notes. In fact, same exact full measure. So that slide again, second fret to fourth fret. Then open fifth string followed by open first string. And then 2 open third. So again. Now, what'll I do? We're going to the C major chord. So we can form it here. Index first fret of the second string. Ring second fret of the first string, middle second fret of the fourth string. Okay, and that note, melody note's on the second string. So play that with the thumb, and then again index on the first string, but it's on the second fret because we're forming that C chord, and then going to the open, going to the fifth string, and then the first string again. So those 4 notes. And again, the only melody note there is that first one. And then play that second string again. And then follow with a pinch. So again, nothing we're doing with our fretting hand except just holding that C major chord. You could, just as an alternative, this is another common thing that I do in this style. You could go to the 5th fret and bar it, and that melody note's instead going to be on the 3rd fret. I mean, on the 3rd string. Gives you just a different tonality if you want it, but this is the way it's tabbed is this C major chord at the first position. All right, now we're just gonna play Skip to My Lou, my darling, and we're just gonna play all those melody notes with our thumb. So 3rd string, 2nd fret. With the thumb, then hammer on from open second to first fret of the second, back to open second, then back to second fret of the 3rd string. Skip to my Lou, my darling. So we're going to close out with darling, open 3rd, and then we've got 3 drone notes. The index on the first, then the 5th string, then the index again. So, and then open 3rd again, and then a pinch. So everything that you see sounds like, at the top of the screen, sounds like this. Now we go to the part in the song where it goes skip, skip, skip to my Lou, which is really the same thing, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through how I've put it here to kind of mirror what happens in the song. All right. So skip, skip, skip to my Lou. So here, just gonna play that 4th fret of the 3rd string again, follow with a pinch, then the open 3rd, skip, follow with another pinch. Again, that's another very common pattern you'll see in this style. I also say for clawhammerists, who are still working on drop thumb, this will make it. This is also a great practice exercise because you're basically just dropping your thumb all the time. But it's just a natural part of the style. Skip to my Lou. So open fourth, followed by open fourth again, and then a index finger on the first, and then the open third followed by a pinch. So that whole measure. And then we do what we did to start with pretty much. Again, fourth fret of the third string, followed by a pinch. Open third. And then instead of a pinch, I just play the open first, just for something a little different. What'll I do? So here, third string, second fret, followed by three drone notes. So you have the index on the first, then the fifth string, then the index on the first again. Then back to that third string, second fret, and then a pinch. And I'm actually fingering a partial D chord there because we are on the D major chord in that part of the song. I have my ring finger on the third fret of the second string. You don't have to do that, but if your banjo is a little bit resonant, it'll sound a little more consonant or in tune if you fret that chord, even though you're not playing that note. Okay, so that measure again. Here's what it sounds like if I don't fret that. Again, it's pretty subtle, but it's there. So from everything you see at the top of the screen sounds like this. All right. Move towards the end. Skip to my Lou. All right, this should look, whoops, lost it. There we go. It should look familiar, that same slide, followed by fifth string and first string, release to the open third, and then a pinch. And then form that C major chord, like just as before, play that second string, first fret as the melody note, and then three drones, and then the second string again, and a pinch. Oops, this is where we are. And now, move again. Skip to my Lou, my darling. We're just gonna play those notes with our thumb. And now, open third, three drone notes. So we got index, thumb, index. So that's, and then open third. So everything from the top of the screen sounds like this. Sorry. So hopefully that gives you kind of an idea of how this style is built, kind of the structure of it with this familiar song. So again, melody surrounded by drones. And so that's Skip to My Lou. Let me check. I lost you at the 2/4 slide. You can don't worry about the slide if you don't want to put the slide in there. Again, like I said, you can substitute just doing this. Just playing that that fourth fret of the third string, or you can just play the open second instead of that note. And then as you kind of get more into this style, one of the things you'll do is play that drone note on the index as you're sliding instead of pausing. So instead of pausing and playing the fifth string, you do that versus. So that's another option. But again, first at the beginning, just keep it simple. All right. So now, as I said, I am going to move to another song. This one is Angelina Baker, and one of the reasons I wanted to cover this, or to do this one, is for folks who are familiar with the old-time repertoire and who may play some of it, clawhammer style, show you that you have a lot of material available to you using this style with a couple of different tunings. So this tuning that we just did, standard G, so all your G tunes you'd fit there, all your A tunes will fit there just by capoing up to the second fret and playing out of standard A. And again, now I'm going to switch to a resonator banjo, just because I'm switching tunings. And so the tuning I'm going to use here, let me pull up the tab first because it has it on there. Let me see. All right. One moment, let me grab. So we're going to be pulling up the tab for Angelina Baker. So if you're familiar with, if you've played in double C tuning or double D tuning on a clawhammer banjo, which is the tuning that I use and that I imagine many of you use to play your D tunes especially, but also C tunes. Here we are going to be playing almost double D, but instead of double D being double C moved up 2 frets, here the tuning that works really well for all of your D tunes is open C tuning moved up 2 frets. So for D tunes, and then open C tuning works well for C tunes. So and I covered, if you were here earlier, for Snowdrop. So open C is the tuning that's used for the song Snowdrop. And just capoing that up 2 frets brings you to an open D tuning that is great for 2-finger thumb lead for all of these D tunes. And that's because you get this great drone whereas with double C, that first string is not one of the 1, 3, or 5 of the key of C. It's a D. So here, because we're tuned to a in theory tuned to a major chord, we've got a nice drone possibility on our first string and of course on our 5th string. So I'm going to show you how to get into that tuning. The box moves. Oh, yeah. All right. Somebody asked about playing. I'll go back and play the whole Skip to My Lou if I didn't. I think I played it at the beginning. But at any rate, all right. Yeah, the square is where I'm marking where I am at any given point in time. Okay, so let's get into this tuning. I'm sort of there, but not quite, I think. So we've got a D, and again, you could get in here, you could start by tuning your banjo to open C, which is G, C, G, C, E, and then putting everything up 2 frets with a capo and a railroad spike, or tuning your 5th string up. I've got the capo at the 2nd fret. I've got my spike at the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then, or the 7th fret technically. And now I'm just going to tune directly to this tuning. So D on the 4th. A on the 3rd, D on the 2nd, F sharp on the 1st, and then A on the 5th. So that's your Snowdrop tuning that we did earlier. And remember that your 3rd string of your 3rd fret of your 1st string is the same as your 5th string. So, just a great, I love this tuning for these D tunes. It's so much fun. And one nice thing too is like I just did there, playing them just nice, slow, and easy. They sound so great. And so it kind of lets you savor these these great fiddle tunes and hear them a little bit differently too. All right, so hopefully everybody's clear on the tuning. And so again, like I said, it's the same structure. And the reason we're using this tune rather than something like double D is because we need that drone on that first string. So the melody notes again are going to be played by our thumb almost exclusively, and they're going to be played on the fourth, third, or second string, and our index and thumb are playing first and fifth as well as drone notes. Okay, so this is we're going to work through now. This is Angelina Baker. So we're going to start just a hammer on from the open third to the second fret of the third. And then again, just like we did before many times, fifth string and first string. So those four notes. And then open second, followed again by the fifth string and the first string. So that first measure. Okay? So far, so good. Just check and make sure everybody's happy. All right. Yeah, this Greg mentions learning this in D and now open D. Yeah, another thing that I've really liked is that I've always needed more tuning. I mean, more songs in this tuning, and just doing this now, I'm a lot more familiar with working my way around this tuning than I used to be. Okay, so we've played the first measure. Now we've got third string, second fret with our thumb, then open second, and then again fifth string, first string, and then open second. So that's now let's move on. Next measure, just like we opened again, first four notes are identical. Next note, open second, also identical. The only one different is this open third. So and then last measure is open third, hammer on to the second fret. And we're gonna. This is a G chord. We're gonna form a G7 chord. So in addition, you're gonna just bring your index finger to the first fret of the first string. So that's that. So again, we do that hammer on, and then fifth string, first string, while we're fingering that first fret. So. And then third string again, still fretting at the second fret, followed by a pinch. Okay, so everything you see at the top sounds like this. So pretty. Okay, and then moving on to the next. Yes. And Jan, you'll be able to watch the replay afterwards too, so don't worry. And also, like, if this is your first time ever, like, finger picking, don't worry. This is, it'll feel awkward at first, but revisit these and keep working at it. All right. So then open third. And then a pull off from third string second fret to the open third. So that's, and then open second, and then fifth string, first string. Okay? And now we're going to play, we're moving our melody to the second string here. And so we're going to play 4th fret of the second string, followed by the first string. And that's actually like, if you'll notice, that's the same note. Then we're going to play 2nd fret of the second string. Again, all with our thumb. Melody notes only with our thumb. And then release to the open second. And then 5th string, first string. So that's. Okay, and now same little figure again. And then open second, followed by open first. And then 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So that measure. And now we're, sorry, let me, I hope I don't want to confuse you on the chords. They're written as if we were in C, so I'm going to change that real quick. So earlier I said that was a G7 chord. It would be if we weren't capoed. Since we're capoed, all right, let's see if that changes. There we go. All right, since we're capoed, it's technically an A, and our root chord is technically a D major. Okay, so this last measure, we got the open 3rd followed by a pinch. And then we have the open 4th, followed by drones on the 1st, 5th, and 1st. So that whole measure. It's a very common pattern that you would play in 2-finger thumb lead. It's also a very good pattern for singing and playing and just fingering the chords. Okay, so everything from the top of the screen sounds like this. Now again, if you were going to play, if you're playing this through, it's your first pass through the A part, the 2 dots would indicate you should go back and play that again. But it would be playing it the same way. So we're going to move along, and this would be how we'd play it. How I'd play it if I'm my second pass through the A part, the last measure. I'm going to play open 3rd followed by a pinch. And then the open 4th, followed by a 5th string and 1st string. And those last 2 notes are actually the first, that's the kind of the start of the melody of the B part. That B part's now going to open with a melody note on the 5th string. Again, a way of getting a little bit creative. Because of our constraints, getting a little bit creative with getting where we get our melody notes. So here we're getting it, instead of it functioning as a drone, it's functioning as a melody. All right. So so with this next measures, which is the start of our B part, we can play the 5th string with our thumb, then the 2nd string, 4th fret, and then 2nd string, 2nd fret, followed by the open 1st, and then the open 2nd. So, if you're familiar with the melody, that should sound familiar. And then we're going to play the 4th fret again of the 2nd string, followed by the 1st string. 2nd fret of the 2nd string, followed by the 1st string, and then open 2nd. So that little descending figure there is. And then again, 5th string, 1st string. Now we have, same as we did before, 5th string followed by 4th fret of the 2nd string. 2nd fret of the 2nd string followed by the 1st string. And then the open 2nd. So everything you see at the top there, which starts with the last measure of the A part and then leads us into the B part. All right. Now we're going again. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're going again to that, like I said, A7 chord. So third string, second fret with with the middle, ring finger on the first fret of the first string, doing that same thing we did before, where we hammered on from the third string open to the second fret, then played fifth string, first string, then third string, second fret again, and then lifting our fingers up, playing fifth string, first string. So that whole measure. And then playing open fifth. Again, this is familiar territory. We've played this already. We played fifth string, then fourth fret of the second, then second fret of the second, followed by index on the first, and then open second. And again, don't get alarmed here by this slide and this note following it. Again, you can do this as before, just like this. Or you could try this little slide figure if you wish, which I've shown here. So I'm going to slide from second fret to fourth fret on the second string. But after I do that, I'm going to play that open first string as well as a drone. So again, it's no different than doing that, except that I'm moving my my fretting hand from the second to fourth fret. Okay, and then I'm moving back to second fret of the second string, then to open second, followed by pinch. So that sounds like this. Again. One of those things that looks trickier than it is. And again, I'm going to do that again. That same little figure. Back to second fret, and then I'm going to follow with an index finger. And then the open second. Then third string, second fret, followed by index. So everything at the top sounds like this. You can hear we're about to end this. Let me make sure I can show you the rest of the screen here. All right. Let me pause for questions. Okay, good. I think we're all right. All right, so we're ending the song. Last measure. Open third, and then three drone notes: index, thumb, index, and then open third. And again, this is our first pass through the B part. Just like we concluded the A part, to go into the B part, we play that fifth string and that first string, and we do that one more pass through the B part. But if it's our second time through, we're just going to close with the open third string, which incidentally is an A note. So this song always kind of ends feeling a little bit unresolved, since we don't resolve to the root note. All right, so that is Angelina Baker. And again, wanted to do that one because if you're familiar with the old time repertoire, which many Clawhammer players are, then you have this huge body of songs that are available to you, and with these kind of two primary tunings. And I've put, if any of you are familiar with the old time jam, so I got really excited when I started working with this tuning. And also with just realizing how versatile, how much more versatile two-finger thumb lead as a style is than I think most people think. So between that and then finding this tuning, I've had a lot of fun working on these fiddle tunes, and it kind of just breathes new life into a lot of them. And so as part of the course, I think all of the tunes that are part of the Old Time Jam Top 20 are now in the vault as in two-finger thumb lead style as well as in three-finger style. And I plan to add a lot more of the classic old-time material in two-finger thumb lead. So hopefully some of you will be inspired to take this style up yourselves. Again, I love playing it at jams, in old-time jams. It really, if you have more than one or two Clawhammer players playing, it can be a really nice complement. It's a completely different sound. I'm going to see if I can make myself appear again. There we go. Okay. So I thought I might try to play this arrangement fully as it's tabbed out. So this is again Angelina Baker, as the tab shows. Again, I also posted a version of this song yesterday on the channel, two-finger thumb lead style, a little bit more dressed up than this one, but still pretty much the same kind of ideas. So here it is. Okay, so that's this tab for Angelina Baker. Again, you can get it from the video description. There's a link to it. Yeah, Robin. Yes, this. So in the Breakthrough Banjo course, there is a tab archive that I've built. I think there's close to 100 tabs in there for two-finger thumb lead, and I've put a bunch in this tuning lately because, like I said, I've been really excited about how perfectly it works for all these old-time tunes. So, email me, Lauren. I do offer a discount if you're already a Clawhammer member. It's not automated at the moment, but I just send you a discount code, and you get it essentially a little bit over half off just with the code. So reply to any of my emails, or josh@clawhammerbanjo.net. And just let me know. And then I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go pull up the tab again for Skip to My Lou, and just I want to make sure I play it as I've tabbed it here. Just bear with me 1 second, so that you'll have that as well. Somebody had requested that earlier. Okay. Wait, nope. Okay. It's always like a slight little, it's a great little mental exercise switching these tunings, because you've kind of acclimated your mind to one of them and now you're completely different. But I think it's actually a really good cognitive challenge. So, all right, we're back to standard G, and I'm going to play Skip to My Lou. that's the tab. That's how this skip to my lose sounds as it's tabbed out. All right. Well, great. Thank you, folks. I'm glad you enjoyed this overview of this style. Hopefully, fire you up to give it a try for yourself, and hope to maybe one day hear more people playing it in jams and so forth. It's also, I should point out, it's pretty easy to get, once you get this style under your fingers, pretty easy to make it go fast. If you're playing at a speedy jam, it really works well for that as well, and it's easy to keep the rhythm going at higher paces and keep your timing going. And I think that comes from the fact that it's so thumb driven, and that thumb is kind of your anchor. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me, folks. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and again, if you want to make sure, if you want to catch the other lessons that come on this channel, make sure you're subscribed, and you can ring the little bell in the upper right hand corner to make sure your notifications are turned on, so that you'll get notified when I'm going live for these workshops. All right, thanks so much. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up to let me know, and hope to see you again in the future. Have a good night.